Welcome back to another episode of Curling to the Tee with Trevor. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Denver Mile High Bonspiel that took place in June of 2022, and I'm also going to share another rare, unique opportunity that also happened in June of 2022. Let's get started. To start off, you were probably wondering where this beautiful place is that is behind me. It is the Teton Valley up at the Idaho and Wyoming border. I have some family that grew up in this area, and so I wanted to do this episode here. In one of my previous episodes, I talked about my experience of the Denver Mile High Bonspiel that took place in June of 2021. I mentioned in that episode that we had lost all of our games, but it wasn't a complete waste because I got to meet some really awesome curlers in the Denver, Colorado area, and the curlers who came from around the country to come play in this Bonspiel. Not only that, but I took that opportunity and learned a lot and asked questions, especially to some of the better curlers as well. I was able to take this information, take it back into my league, able to practice different things and try different things, and I was able to improve my game quite a bit. It was really awesome going to the Mile High Bonspiel again this year. I was able to go and I was able to see some familiar faces that I met from a year ago, such as Dave Falco and Lance Wheeler, Clare, Simon, Loren, and then I forgot to mention in my previous video that I met Alec, who was also another curler who, when we first arrived and started practicing, he was one of the first to welcome us, and I was able to ask him some questions and get some information on how to improve my curling as well. And I have to say, I also met a few more people over in Denver. I met Sean, and I also met Tim, and they were part of the ice crew for the Bonspiel this year, and they did a fantastic job. So for all of my friends in Denver who I know or who I met, it was awesome meeting you and being able to play with you and enjoy the experience of the Mile High Bonspiel. In this year's tournament, our team got to play a team from Denver, then we played a team from Chicago, a team from Hollywood, California, a team from Tennessee, and then our final game we played against a team from Denver. And I have to say, it was a lot of fun playing against these different teams, meeting fellow curlers, and being able to connect with them on Facebook and being able to chat with them and see them and have some fun times. Also in this tournament, I was able to see some players that we played from a year ago. One of those was the team from Santa Fe, New Mexico. One of those players was Nathan L. It was nice seeing him, and he was actually surprised that I remembered him from a year ago. We were able to chat in the hotel where we were staying and talk a little bit more about directional sweeping. And it was kind of neat to be able to share what experiences I've had with directional sweeping to try to help him out, because he had his doubts about directional sweeping or the specific techniques to it. And so hopefully we helped him out there. In this Bonspiel, it consisted of our team of Ken, who was our skip, Thomas, myself, and Steve. We didn't have Carl this time. We had Thomas come instead. And one of the things is, as we came and played together, we had to learn and adapt with our new team dynamic. And we also had to kind of figure out what we played best. So in our first game against a Denver team, Thomas threw third and I threw second. And then in some other games against the Chicago team, against the Hollywood, California team, and the Tennessee team, I ended up playing third, or throwing third, while Thomas vice skipped, which worked out really well. When we played our games, we played against a Denver team, and we got beat pretty bad. But then in our second game, when we kind of switched up our team dynamics and were kind of getting more experience with playing with each other, then we beat the Chicago team by 1. It was a very close game, but we loved playing against them because they were a lot of fun. And then we played the Hollywood team, and they were pretty good. That game ended up being 8-5. Then we went to the semifinals in the B bracket, and we played against a Tennessee team, and we ended up beating them 9-2. Then we had our final game, which was against a Denver team, and we got beat. But overall, it was a success because a year ago, we came in dead last, and then this year, we made it to the finals in the B bracket, which was a huge progression from last year. We ended up becoming the B bracket runner-ups, which was a huge deal. I did post the game of our semifinal down below in the description, so if you'd like to watch that, you're more than welcome to. I played my best game in that semifinal game. In this video, I'd also like to do a shout out to Clare and Lance Wheeler and congratulate them on their wedding coming up in August of 2022. It was really fun to be able to see them, to give them my best wishes, and also get a picture with them. And it was fun seeing them compete and do very well. They also became the A bracket runner-ups, and it was really exciting to watch that. For those of you who may be watching this video, I just want to let you know that the Mile High Bonspiel is one of the best Bonspiels that I've ever attended for both years, last year and this year. It is well organized, the food and the drinks are great, the environment is great, the people are very friendly, and I just love that area and love the Bonspiel that takes place. I'd like to also do a shout out to Dave and Dan Falco who help organize it. They do such a great job, and to the other organizers and ice technician and ice crew and all the other volunteers who've helped make this Bonspiel a big success. It is one of my favorites. I highly recommend it for any of you who are thinking about it. It is a beautiful area. There's a lot going on in that area, and it's just overall a very fun Bonspiel. The hotel that was about a mile away was also a top-notch hotel. Highly recommended. Okay, I'm going to share with you some of the learning things that happened during this Bonspiel. In our semifinal game, I've got some clips that I'd like to share with you. There have been things that I've learned or have been taught in the past with curling, and sometimes it doesn't sink in until you actually have that experience or until it actually comes up. So one of those things that came up was in our semifinal game, we were ahead by a number of points, and Ken was going to call a takeout on one of our guards. And basically told us, hey, whenever you have a big lead, you don't want to set up guards so the other team doesn't pile in stones and try to catch up in points. So it was actually pretty neat to see that in actual experience and let it sink in. Here's the clip of Ken calling that shot. In this next video clip, I'm going to show you an amazing draw that I did in the third end, where the other team had piled on a couple of stones on the side of the house, and if we weren't careful, they could have racked up a number of points. So I ended up doing this draw that just ends up getting a stone right in there, wedged in there, where it happens to be closer than the other stones, but the other team didn't want to touch it. This is another little clip of me doing a draw in the fourth end.
Okay. Yeah, just gonna slow down. Stay with it. Stay with it. Whoa. I think we're good. Yeah. Good. I think we're good. Sit. That's very nice try. Very, very nice.
This is my second shot in the fourth end of doing a hit, and I definitely have to say I definitely felt more confident in my delivery and in my hits in this Bonspiel compared to last year.
Yep. Whoa. Good out, Trav. 9-3.
I can't take all the credit. Our team played very well. In this clip, you'll see Thomas making a great draw.
dig. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do it. Hold it to it. Yep, you can go in. Hold it to it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Lead. Great shot. Lead. Oh, yeah. Yep. Great shot.
Here's a video clip of some of my sweeping. I felt like I swept very well in this game.
All the way. All the way. Hard. If I don't do it now, he's good shot. Yeah. Got it.
I was very proud of my hit and roll in the 7th end.
Yep, 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 yep. Hard, Thomas. Really hard. Sit. 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 Whoa, 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 whoa. Sit, please. A little less. I'll give you a little more. Stop. Get the bounce over this way. Yeah, I was like...
The semifinal game ended in the 7th end, and here is a clip of Ken's final shot.
Yes, I don't want to go. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
It felt really good representing one of the teams from Utah. Going from dead last from a year ago to being one of the teams that make it to the final, being one of the top 8 teams, was a huge accomplishment. It's amazing to see the growth that I've experienced over the last year from the things that I've learned and practiced. And I'd like to say that my team played very well too. Okay, I know this video is getting long, but I'm excited to share with you the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode with the rare and unique opportunity that I have got to experience just in the last few weeks. Currently, with the war in Ukraine with Russia, the Ukrainian curlers are over in Utah right now, being able to practice and, being able to compete and do what they need to continue their sport with the war going on. And our league had a unique opportunity on Olympic Day. Our club had a mini tournament with the Ukrainian men and women's players. And the way it worked was we had a few of our curlers from our club, and then we would have 1 or 2 of the Ukrainian curlers be part of that teams. We ended up having about 8 teams. Ryan Olson, who has done a lot of the video streaming of our club's games, was playing our skip. I played the vice skip, and then Yaroslava, who plays lead on the Ukrainian women's team, was our second, and then another guy named Steve, not the same Steve who went to Denver with us. We were the team. What was really cool was Drew, one of the coordinators over our curling club, got name tags for the Ukrainian players. And he came up to me and he said, "Here you go, here's a name tag. Go ahead and give it to your curler who will play on your team." So I went over and I was like, "Yaroslava." And then Yaroslava came walking over and I presented the name tag to her, and I asked her, what position she wanted to play, because if she wanted to skip, we were going to let her skip. But she ended up wanting to play second, even though she plays lead normally on her team. It was a blast. We had basically 3 little mini games where we played 2 ends, and basically it got shuffled around depending on how well you did. And our team ended up winning first place. It was really awesome. One of the things that I did was, as I was talking with Yaroslava, was I was trying to speak slowly and clearly so that she could understand. It was really neat seeing Yaroslava play at a top level. Her sweeping was amazing. She threw great shots. She threw the best shots on our team to help us win. It was really neat afterwards because I was able to pull up Google Translate and tell her how well she played. And even though there was that language barrier, we were still able to communicate a little bit. And it was really neat being able to get some pictures together. And it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And how neat that was. One of the things I strived very hard for during this event was to help Yaroslava and her teammates and the other Ukrainians feel welcome. feel welcome at the Utah Olympic Oval, feel welcome in the United States, and, to let them know that I appreciated them and wanted them to have fun. And that's what that curling spirit is all about, is being friends to those around you and helping others feel welcomed. And I strived very hard for that, and it was really neat to have this opportunity with them. That sums up this episode. I hope you were able to learn something, and I hope it brought you some excitement to hear about the different experiences that I've had in the last few months. And I am excited to share more of those experiences and my learnings with you in future episodes. We'll see you then.